HOA sent fake cops to wreck my cabin, but my real SWAT team was waiting with warrants. The air was thick with the scent of pine and betrayal when I woke to the sound of shattering glass. My cabin, a modest retreat I'd built with my own hands, was under siege. Outside, 3 men in cheap police uniforms were smashing windows and spray-painting slurs across the walls. At the center of it all stood HOA Karen, the HOA president, her designer heels sinking into the dirt as she barked orders with a venomous smirk. Her voice cut through the morning chill. "Tear it down. This eyesore doesn't belong in my neighborhood." My heart pounded not from fear, but from fury. This wasn't just about a cabin. This was personal. HOA had been gunning for me ever since I refused to bow to her petty rules, and now she'd crossed a line I didn't know she was capable of. I'd moved to this quiet forest community to escape the noise of the city, pouring my savings and soul into a small cabin that broke no laws. HOA, though, saw it as a blemish on her vision of a pristine, elitist enclave. She'd sent letters, fines, and threats, but I'd held my ground, citing legal permits. That morning, as I peeked through the curtains of the chaos outside, I realized she'd escalated to something far darker, hiring imposters to pose as cops and destroy my home. Her smug face, framed by perfectly styled hair and dripping with condescension, told me she thought she'd won. But she didn't know I'd been preparing for this. I grabbed my phone and dialed my friend Marcus, a private investigator who'd been digging into HOA's shady dealings for weeks. "It's happening," I whispered. "She sent fake cops. Get here fast." Marcus had uncovered whispers of HOA's corruption extorting neighbors, skimming HOA funds, and now, apparently, orchestrating illegal vandalism. But we needed proof, and today, she'd handed it to us on a silver platter. As the fake cops swung crowbars, I slipped out the back door, heart racing, and hid in the shed, watching through a crack as HOA reveled in her power. My cabin was my sanctuary, and every splintered board felt like a stab to my chest. But I wasn't helpless. Marcus had tipped off the real authorities, and they were on their way. The twist came when an unexpected figure emerged from the trees. Mrs. Delaney, the elderly widow next door, who HOA had bullied into silence for years. Frail but fierce, she marched up to HOA, her voice trembling with rage. "You think you own us, but I've got your emails," she said, holding up her phone. "You paid those thugs with HOA money." HOA's face froze, her eyes darting to the fake cops, who suddenly looked nervous. Mrs. Delaney had been quietly collecting evidence, screenshots, bank transfers, even recordings of HOA's threats. She'd been too scared to act until she saw my cabin being trashed. Her courage shifted the tide, giving me a surge of hope as I waited for Marcus and the police. The standoff erupted when the real SWAT team arrived, their boots crunching through the underbrush like a thunderstorm rolling in. 6 officers in tactical gear fanned out, weapons drawn, their leader holding a stack of warrants. "Ho Nguyen, you're under arrest for fraud, extortion, and orchestrating criminal vandalism," he barked. HOA's smirk vanished, replaced by a look of pure panic. The fake cops dropped their tools and raised their hands, stammering excuses. I stepped out from the shed, my heart pounding with vindication, as HOA's eyes locked onto mine. "You can't do this," she shrieked, her voice cracking. "I'm the president of this HOA." The SWAT leader ignored her, cuffing her wrists as she struggled, her designer coat catching on a splintered board. Mrs. Delaney's evidence was the nail in HOA's coffin. The email showed she'd hired the imposters through a shady contractor, funneling thousands from the HOA's budget to fund her vendetta. The warrants also covered her financial records, revealing years of embezzlement. As the SWAT team led her away, HOA's facade crumbled. She screamed, "This isn't over," but her voice was drowned out by the sound of her empire falling apart. The fake cops confessed on the spot, desperate to cut deals, and the truth spilled out. HOA had targeted anyone who defied her, but I was her obsession because I dared to stand up. The aftermath was bittersweet. My cabin was battered, but it could be rebuilt. The real victory was seeing HOA's reign of terror end. Neighbors who'd lived in fear began speaking out, sharing stories of her intimidation. Mrs. Delaney became a quiet hero, her bravery inspiring others to demand accountability. The HOA was dissolved, replaced by a community council focused on fairness. As I swept up the broken glass, I felt a weight lift not just from me, but from everyone HOA had crushed. Her downfall wasn't just justice. It was a reminder that no one is untouchable, no matter how powerful they seem. Standing on my porch weeks later, with the cabin patched up and the forest quiet again, I realized something profound. Courage is contagious. Mrs. Delaney's stand, Marcus's investigation, and my refusal to back down had sparked a change bigger than any of us. HOA's arrest wasn't just the end of her tyranny, it was a call to rebuild trust in our community. I looked at the stars above and felt a fire kindled in me, a belief that standing up, even when it's hard, can rewrite the story. What do you think? When is it right to fight back against someone like HOA, and when should we let go? Share your thoughts, because every voice matters in making things right.